See, that's what we have to do.
Okay.
I just have to keep her real.
All right, we're live. It's Gnome night. Welcome. All right. We'll give people time to check in.
Yep.
Number one, Stella Dorkman.
Hi, Stella. How are you? Welcome back again.
Tori Georgiana.
Hi, Tori.
Michelle Bellinger is back.
Hi, Michelle.
Kaylee is back.
Yay.
Tiffany Luke.
Awesome.
Vanessa Crilly. Tanya Fusco. Letha Roth St. Clair.
Welcome back, ladies.
That's right, Kaylee Corriveau.
That's right.
Canada is in the house. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Angie Combs Maggio from Omaha, Nebraska. First time here. We got a first timer.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. We're going to give people time to check in and then we'll get started.
Get your wine out if you're drinking wine.
Got another first timer, Vanessa Crilly.
Hi, Vanessa.
They're from Oshawa, Ontario, Canada.
Okay. Welcome, welcome. We love our Canadian neighbors.
Cinder is back.
Hi, Sensor.
Adrian from St. Catharines.
Okay. Drinks, cheers, ladies. Thank you for all coming back again.
Yes,
And
Michelle
welcome
says
first
yes.
timers.
The kids had their fun
That's
earlier.
right.
Now it's date night for mom and dad.
Oh, good. Welcome, guys.
Awesome. We got Neil and Sachin from Lumberton, New Jersey.
Hi, Neil. Welcome.
Tiffany is a first timer. Tiffany L. Luke.
Welcome, Tiffany. Thanks for tuning in with us.
Thanks for being a first timer.
Yeah.
Kathy Blinn. Oh, finally found you. Hi from Kingston.
You did it. Way to go. We're trying to give everybody all the tips we can to find us live. Somehow it's challenging sometimes.
Tiffany's from Vegas.
Cool.
Samara Dalvi Vias is from Arizona. Yes, and Tammy Blunt Druids is here with us again from not Bridgewater.
Bridgeton.
She has Julia joining her for this one.
Okay.
Nadine from Bridgewater is here.
Okay.
Nick from Bridgewater.
Nick, that's right.
Yajera Mejia.
Mira, maybe?
I'm saying that word. I know I'm saying that name wrong. But they're back.
Welcome back.
Yes, Jackie Fora is back with her daughters from Ohio.
Oh, good. Hi, everybody. I hope you're all making a different gnome. I would love to see
Neil
your
from
family.
Arizona, first time. I like we getting the first timers.
Yeah.
Here's our Pennsylvania. Holly Parry Connell from Pennsylvania.
All right.
We are V.
We'll give everyone a few minutes and then we'll go over your supplies and what we need and we'll get started.
Andrea from Maryland.
Hi, Andrea. Welcome.
Yes. We got some returnees and we got some new people. That's great.
Love it. We love it. We appreciate the shares and we love seeing you guys post your pictures. I can't see everybody's, but we love getting your pictures when you guys do paintings so we can create the photo montage later and share it to you. And we love seeing the shares of our page to your friends, and that's how we grow, which we love. The more the merrier.
Here's a good one. We've got a family joining from 3 different locations.
Oh, yay.
The Georgiana family
Oh, good.
from, I think it's Nebraska,
Cool.
Kansas. First timers from Nebraska, Jody Georgiani.
Okay. Cool, cool.
Adrian Yarrow is with my sister Kate and I, our first timers. We're looking forward to this.
Oh,
This is
good.
wonderful we got first timers.
We love having first timers.
Yeah, this is gonna take a minute to do this painting because it's a little more detailed.
Yeah.
But this should be a lot of fun tonight, especially for first timers. Awesome.
So for those of you that saw the post. You can sketch it out if you could have pre-sketched it if you wanted to. If not, it's totally okay. We will go over sketching it out first before we paint it anyway.
Make sure you have something to drink.
And your drinks, pencils, your supplies we'll go over. I feel like I'm crooked. Am I okay? Look straight?
Let me see. You look okay.
All right.
Of course, I have to mess with it. You look all right. Oh, yeah, I'll mess with it again. Hold on, I'm looking at my messing with it. Are you okay?
Oh, good.
Hey, KD.
Welcome.
Are we almost ready to start?
I think so, yeah. 5 after?
Yeah, we're at 6 after, and we have
Okay.
over 40.
Okay, very good.
So if people come in late, then you'll just start all over. I mean, you'll describe what you were doing from the beginning.
So for our first timers, welcome, welcome.
Know to speak
you.
loudly, please.
Right.
I'm already getting the request.
Welcome to our first timers. We appreciate you tuning in, and we love that we have people coming back to do it again. That means we must be doing something right, right? So my name is Jennifer. I am Mimosas and Masterpieces. Mark, my other half, is behind the computer answering your questions, clicking on your likes and loves, and helping me guide you with your questions and shouting them out to me. So anytime you need anything, you need me to slow down, you need me to speak up, which I try. Let him know, and he'll yell at me again.
I don't yell at you. Don't say that. Don't even get them to think that I do that. I don't never yelled at you.
He'll remind me to speak up again. So we're in Southbound Brook, New Jersey. We typically are a traveling paint and sip company where we would come out to events.
I don't know, but we had to stop it.
People should know I'm busy now. We've had to cancel, of course, everything for the past 3 months. So we decided to just give back and go virtual and do everything free. Of course, we love tips and donations. We'll put up a Venmo or PayPal link later. We do appreciate those. Generosity is always rewarded. I love it. So let's go over your supplies, okay? So I have a 12 by 24 canvas. Again, if you guys don't have the 12 by 24 and you're working on a 16 by 20, which is your standard studio size canvas, that's fine. You'll just kind of shrink some stuff down a bit. So my canvas is on my easel. If you have an easel, it's probably easier to work on. You'll have paper towels, a cup of water, at least half full, to rinse your brushes. You'll have 2 plates. One will be for your paints to put them on, and one will be your mixing plate to mix colors. We will have to do some mixing for this guy. You'll need at least 2 brushes, if not 3. So if you have a set of brushes, you're going to use the largest flat end brush first, and then we're going to go to 2 smaller brushes depending on what you've got. You make work what you have. So I like to use 2 round brushes, one a little bit smaller than the other, the smallest for our little details when we go back to the end and go through details. I'll tell you which brushes to use as we go, and I'll tell you when to rinse and dry and swap out. Paints, let's get those on our plates. So on the list of supplies was blue. So I'm just going to put a little of each on my plate, and you can go back and add more later if you need to. I always forget to clean these off before.
Just a little?
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit at a time.
Okay.
If you need to add more, you can always add more. I always seem to put way too much paint on my plate and waste it. Whites. Red.
So it's blue, white, and red.
Yep. Yellow. And again, I'm just using regular flow acrylic paints. Nothing special. You can use any kind of acrylic. I like to use the flow acrylic. It's easier to get onto the canvas. So red, white, blue, yellow, black, and you'll need some brown.
Oh, you found the brown?
I found the brown. This one's still kind of thick, but that's okay. It's a little better than the other one.
All right, so go over those colors again.
All right, so you have red, white, blue, yellow, black, and brown. So this will be your paint, your plate of paint or your palette. And then this is your second plate will be your mixing palette if you don't want to mix on this plate.
Okay.
Okay, whatever you're comfortable with. When we mix colors, you want to try and keep it in a small area instead of across the whole plate. The smaller area you can use, the better. Because we'll be doing a couple of mixing jobs tonight. All right, so first thing is, we're going to start with our wide flat brush. Rinse and dry. Always going to rinse your brushes even when they're new. And dry. Dry brush is always better. When you add a lot of water to your paint will run down your canvas. All is fixable, just better not to have to, right? All right, so actually, you know what? I'm sorry, we said we're gonna sketch first, right? So we're gonna sketch first.
Okay.
Let me do that first, I apologize. So
Talk a little louder.
So brushes down for right now. Your paints are ready. We're gonna sketch first. I'm gonna do mine in marker so you can see it in the camera. You can do yours with pencil. All right, so grab your pencils, canvas. We're gonna start with the mushroom. Okay, so I'm gonna work from the bottom right corner. So about an inch from the right corner and about an inch to an inch and a half. I'm gonna put a little dot to start. This is where the right side of my mushroom is gonna be. I'm gonna go over about an inch and a half to 2 inches and another dot. So about an inch up, an inch to the left is our first dot. Second dot is about an inch and a half to 2 inches to the left. And this, we're going to round out, just a round line there. That's the bottom of our mushroom. Rascal, you need to lay down, buddy.
You gotta go to the bathroom?
Gonna go outside?
You gotta go outside?
Go outside. Go, buddy. Lay down.
Take it easy, Rascal.
He's staring at those donuts, Dad.
No, he's not.
All right, so we have the bottom of our mushroom. So we're gonna kind of use a curved line. So I'm gonna say up about, not quite halfway. Where are we going here? Maybe about a hand and a half. A hand and a half. And about, I don't know, maybe 4 inches in, we'll put another dot. So, maybe about 8 inches up. I know, you didn't know you were measuring tonight, right? About 8 inches up and about 3 to 4 inches in. There's a dot. And then I'm going to kind of think of an invisible line diagonally down, maybe about 2 to 3 inches here. And you can paint over all of this, okay? So if it's not perfect, if it's not exact, don't worry about it. You can paint over it and we can fix it when we're painting.
Yeah, remember to talk loudly.
All right. So again, these next set of dots were about 8 inches up, 3 to 4 inches over, and then I'm almost doing a diagonal down, about 2 inches apart. And then I'm going to connect the dots with a curved line. So here's this guy, and we're going to do the same on this side. Here's this guy.
Yeah, everybody's saying they cannot hear you.
Man.
Talk in this
I know,
direction.
I know, I'm sorry. I am not a loud talker, guys. Alright, so this is the stem of our mushroom. So I'm going to make an oval shape around the stem, okay? We're going to go about, so a little bit higher. We're about halfway almost on our canvas. about halfway here is a dot. And so the other dot will be almost halfway here. We're going to come down a bit. So give me about 4 inches down on the left side. We want an oval to go almost around the entire canvas. Again, it's okay. We're going to fix it in painting. So it's almost an oval for the underside of your mushroom cap.
Okay.
Let me let everybody get that on.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, it seems like they're just, people are talking to each other, working out the volume situation.
Sorry.
Some people have to turn up their volume.
Yeah, turn up your volume as high as it goes, because I'm not a loud talker. I don't like shouting at you either.
And we haven't received our new camera with its new microphone so that we
It's
can
coming.
definitely hear her. So we're waiting on that.
Sorry, guys. All right, so then we're going to do the top of our mushroom. So I'm kind of extending from the bottom of this. And I'm going to go up about 1.5 to 2 inches and bring it around.
Okay.
So it's almost like another oval overlapping the smaller oval underneath.
And you're going to paint over all of this.
I'm going to paint over it all. It's just a guideline for you. Like I said, if you don't like that this is too wide, then you can always bring it down and make this oval smaller, and this will all be painted in.
Okay.
It's okay. We can move your lines. You're using pencil, so you can erase it if you want to erase it. I'm using marker, so it's there.
They can use markers as well, right? It would be no problem.
You can. Yep. All right, so I'll let you guys get your mushroom on there. All right, we're gonna go to the gnome's body, which is really just a circle, okay? So on the center of my mushroom, at the top of my mushroom, I'm gonna do about a circle, maybe a little bit bigger than the size of your palm. Again, this is just sketches. You're gonna paint over them all, so don't worry.
Good, good.
So his feet on either side,
Yeah.
I like to call them little flames. We're gonna start with kind of an eye shape. It's like an oval with corners. So it's an eye shape. One on either side. And then when we get to painting, you can add those little flare swirls at the end of his boots later.
Okay.
Okay. If I'm going too fast, just someone slow me down.
Yeah, yeah. You're going at a good pace. So far, just dealing with the volume settings.
Sorry. I'm working on it. All right, so let's do the most important part of our gnome, I think. Second most important part is his nose, right? So we want to give him a big nose. So it's an oval right on top of that circle.
Right, so you got the circle, you got the 2 feet, and now you have the nose.
Yep. Okay, guys. The next we're going to work on is his mustache. So this is kind of a sideways S, if you will. So from where his nose and his body meets, we're going to go up, down, and around. So it's like an elongated S.
Okay. Now I've got one request to slow down a little bit.
Okay.
So
Yep.
can you go back to the feet?
Yep, so we did...
Well, let's go back to the gnome on top of.
Yep, so after our mushroom,
Yes.
you're going to use a circle about the size of your palm, maybe a little bit bigger. Circle for his body. And then his feet, or his boots, are kind of like eye shapes. They're ovals that come to a point.
Okay.
Okay? From those, we added his nose, which is a big oval, right on top of his body. You can make that as big or as small as you want, depending on what you want your gnome to look like. And then we're working on his mustache. So his mustache is an elongated S shape. So right from where his nose and his body meets, it's an elongated S this way. And we're going to do the bottom of this. So we're going to do the same thing, but I like to come in from this side. So I'm taking it from the bottom of this S and following the same shape in. Again, we can fix that in painting, so don't stress about it. If it doesn't look perfect, don't worry.
Right, this is just a preliminary sketch.
Yeah. And it depends on how you want your mustache. You might want your mustache to look different than mine.
Right.
Elongated S on this side. We're going up, down, and up again. And I'm going to come back this way.
Okay.
Alright. Let you guys get the mustache in. Take a sip.
Yes, get a sip.
Alright, so now we have to finish his beard area. So I like to kind of come in under his mustache and almost down like a big oval. I'm just going to leave it like that for now, so I can paint in the wisps of his beard later.
Okay.
Now if you want your beard to be smaller, you can make it smaller. If you want it to be bigger, you can make it bigger. This is your gnome. I almost called it an elf. Your gnome.
There's a difference between a gnome and an elf?
Our gnomiacs will tell you, I'm sure.
Okay.
Alright, we're going to give him a little arm. So that's just kind of an elongated, rounded area. So like a rectangle with a rounded side. And then a circle for his hand. Who's laughing?
Kaylee.
What's Kaylee saying?
She said she's glad she sketched everything beforehand because her husband just got her some ice cream and that's what she's sipping on now.
Good. I'm an ice cream fan too. I'm with you.
And she took your advice and sketched beforehand.
Good. Alright. The next most important thing, or the most important thing, of course, is his hat, right? So let's do the rim of his hat. So I'm going to go from the middle of each part of his mustache, the middle of the left and the middle of the right. And we're going to almost graze right over the top of his nose. So this is the underside of his hat.
Okay.
And we're going to round out each side so that it's kind of thick. So this is the rim of his hat. Oops.
Okay.
Okay, that's the rim of the hat. Let you guys get that in there.
That's good. Good pacing, good slow time.
So now the top part of your hat, it all depends on how you want it to fall or where you want it to go. So, and it's really, you just want to avoid straight lines. So you want movement. So the curvier the lines, the more movement you have. So I'm going to start with a curved line up. We'll do that on either side. Continue it kind of in it again like an S shape. We want fluid movements.
You want wavy.
Wavy, fluid movements. We're going to bring it up again and around. We'll continue down here. And again, every time I do a painting, it will look different every time I do it. So if yours doesn't look like mine, that's okay. We don't want yours to look exactly like ours. We want yours to look like yours.
Yes.
Okay, so on the right side of my hat, we're going to finish this. You just want it to kind of get smaller as it gets closer to the end.
Okay.
And again, you can play with this while you're painting it. Sometimes while you're painting it, it's easier to manipulate and move the shapes when you're painting than when you're drawing it.
Okay.
And we're going to add our little heart down here. You can put whatever you want on the end of his hat.
Star.
You can put a star, you can put a snowflake, you can put a, I don't know what else you can.
Lightning bolt.
What are those little fuzzy things? Pom-pom. Alright. I think we have just we can add all the little details in when we paint so you don't have to sketch all those out. We can add the 2 little mushrooms on the bottom. So on the bottom left, I'm just going to do 2 curved lines down, and you can put these wherever you want. You don't have to put them right here. 2 little curved lines, almost like you're making a rainbow. And then the mushroom cap is almost a circle right around the top, or an oval right around the top of it. And then you're going to do a smaller one on the inside.
Yeah, now, Gail Blaine Hansard says this is being recorded, so we can refer back to it if needed, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, when we're all done with the video, once the live is over, we'll save it and upload it into the event, so you can always go back to it later, or you can share it with friends, or do it again. You can pause me if you need to pause me. Alright, and we're going to do another one, which will kind of go off of our canvas, I guess, but that's okay. And kind of a circle around for the mushroom.
So you ran out of room?
Yeah, that's okay. All okay. You can add as many of those as you want to. This is your painting.
Okay.
What else do you guys need sketched? What do you think?
Flower?
Good.
Nope.
The flower?
No, we could do the flower last. The flower doesn't.
Yeah, the flower I think we can just do with paint. We don't need to sketch it. Alright. Sketch them down. Give us some likes, hearts, if you're okay to move on to painting.
Some hearts or some thumbs up.
Just so we know you're ready to go, and we'll move on to the next step.
Yes.
Yes. We're going to do I didn't give it kind of a horizon, where our land ends and the sky begins.
Okay. I'm seeing some thumbs up and some
Good.
hearts.
So we know that this area down here will be green, and this area up here will be the sky.
Okay. I've seen a couple of tears, so that means some people are not ready.
Oh no, okay. No crying. There's no crying in painting.
Oh, but mostly hearts and thumbs up.
No crying in painting. Take a sip.
Yep, now it's time to take a sip.
Except for the kids. Juice boxes only. Or soda, or pop, depending on where you're from.
Now Cinder Miss Robian says, I'm ready because I don't want to sketch too much since I lost everything last night when we started the background.
Yes. Sometimes you'll lose your pencil marks when we paint the background, so don't stress too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes once you have it drawn, it's sort of there. Even though you lose it, it's still there. And you can always go back over it and sketch it, but really I like to paint it out instead of sketch it out. I sketch out the first ones usually, so I know what I'm doing, so I can teach you.
Okay.
So we're going to work from top to bottom here, okay? We're going to work with a large flat brush. Again, we're going to rinse and dry that brush. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Rinse and dry that brush. And we're going to blend right on canvas. So you don't have to worry about mixing on your plate for the background. Oh, plugging in.
Yeah, you're running out of power.
Oh, it's not good.
Not good at all.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's in. Now you just have to click off that thing on the computer.
What thing on the computer?
It says trust this computer or whatever.
Trust it?
No.
Oh, crap. Not good.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, exactly. Not good.
Sorry, guys. Technical issues. Want me to put it back?
No, I got it.
No. Let it end. Better?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So again, large flat brush, rinsed and dried. Rinsed and dried. Okay. We're blending right on canvas for our background, for our sky. So we're going to take a corner of white, and a corner of blue on our brush. We're going to work from the top down. So we're going to paint the edges and the top of our canvas as we go by it, as we get through it. You're going to give me about 4 inches of this blue and white mixture.
Okay.
Right on canvas. And I'm just using right to left strokes, horizontal strokes. You're just going to keep going over it, and it's going to blend right on canvas. And it's okay if you go over your pencil marks or your marker marks. It's okay. I'm going to just avoid covering it completely if I can. So they're still there, but it's all right if you cover them. If it looks too dark, you're just going to grab some more white and blend the white in and bring it down. So we're bringing it down about 4 to 5 inches.
Okay.
And how do you kind of figure that out? The brush that you're using is either a 3/4 or a 1 inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of guesstimate that way. Okay. Either side. Little white, little blue. And then this side. And it's just horizontal strokes, right to left. Nothing else fancy. Grab the edges, grab the tops, your top and your bottom. It's okay, again, if you go over your pencil marks, you can paint over it, don't worry.
So everybody seems to be very busy right now.
Okay. So with that same brush, we're not rinsing and drying right now. We're using the same brush, dirty brush, corner of white and a corner of red. Just a little bit of red at a time here. Okay, so corner of white, little corner of red on my brush. We're going to use that same motion, but we're going to overlap about 1 inch of that blue and white area that you made. Okay, we're going to blend down about 3 inches, white, little corner of red. So we're coming down about 3 inches, and then I want you to go back up into that blue to blend the 2 colors. You'll get kind of a purple, light pink color over here.
Okay.
So corner of white, little tiny bit of red on there. Again. Let's go to the other side. Corner of white, little bit of red on there. And we're going to blend up into that blue. And again, if it looks like it's too dark for that color that you're using, just grab some more white and blend over it. That's okay. This is your sky, so it can be whatever color you want. And we just like it lighter so that your gnome, the more vibrant colors of the gnome show through.
Okay.
Definitely not getting that.
Okay, so now You can just slow down a little bit.
Yep.
Now we've got Tara Grummett. Says, oh no, my kids and I wanted to do this with you, but the event said 7 p.m. on my news feed. It is 7:35 p.m. We started at 7.
Depending on where they are in.
They don't say. She doesn't say.
Depending on where you are. So it will save the event, or we'll save the video, and we'll post it into the event so that you can go back and do it probably tomorrow, especially if you have kids. Cause it's
Yes, Tara. Yes, we do it. We're going to put the video up as soon as we finish the live.
Yep.
And you'll be able to do it later today, later tonight, or tomorrow.
Yeah, if you have kids, you'll probably wait until tomorrow to do it. Sorry. Because it'll probably take us about 2 hours to get through this. At least that's what I'm anticipating here.
Right, and then we've got 2 please slow down requests.
Okay.
One from Hitesh Goel and Samara Dalvi Vias.
No problem. All right.
Right, so where were you?
So we took our large flat brush.
Right.
We rinsed and dried. We used a corner of blue and a corner of white. And we're just blending right on the canvas. We took it down about 4 to 5 inches. Blended it in on the canvas. If it looks too dark, just add a little bit more white and blend over it.
Okay.
Then we took same brush, not rinsing and drying, a corner of white and a little corner of red. Red goes a long way. So then we overlapped that red and white over top of our blue for about 1 inch, and then blended it down another about 3 inches.
Oh, okay. Tara's in a different time zone.
Yeah.
It's only 4:30 there.
Yeah, sorry, love.
So they're on the West Coast, I think.
California.
Yeah. I told you we got to work something out with that. The time zones.
On our, yes.
We had somebody from Japan that got up in the morning and did paint with us.
So yeah, so we're blending. Hi, Rascal. You need to relax, buddy. So we blended down our blue, our red, which kind of turned into like a purpley pink color. That's good. And again, same brush. We're not rinsing and drying. You almost want to blend down until almost all the paint is off of your brush.
Okay.
Alright. I don't want to go too fast though.
Yeah. Slow the pace down a little bit.
Rascal, left side. Yes.
All right there.
Left side.
Come on.
Rescue's our rescue dog. We've had him since December. He's very needy. Alright, for those of you that are ready, after our blue and our red or pink color that it turned out to be, same brush. I have not rinsed or dried. I'm going to take a corner of white and a corner of yellow. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to overlap that about 1 inch over that pink color and then blend it down about 4 inches down. Okay, same thing. So I'm blending over about 1 inch of that pink color and then blending down about 4 inches here.
Can you please repeat the colors for wash?
Yes. So we did blue and white. Blended about 4 inches. We did pink and white. We overlapped that blue for about 1 inch. Blended down 2 or 3 inches. And now we're doing yellow. So now it's just yellow and white. Corner of yellow, a corner of white on my brush. And we're just blending it right on the canvas.
Yeah, so that's where everybody is right now. They are doing the background.
Yep, we're all doing the background. Corner of white, corner of yellow, and on this side. So from here down, we're gonna fill with that white and yellow color. If you wanna add other colors in there again, like that pink color, You can go ahead and add that pink color in there too.
Okay.
Okay, so this is kind of like a sunset. Gnome on a shroom in the sunset.
Okay.
So just horizontal strokes, right to left, blending our colors, white and whatever color we're using.
And how far are you going down?
So with the yellow now, we're gonna come all the way down to where our horizon is. So
Okay.
we wanna come all the way down now.
You made a mark for that.
Yep, so it's down here, by
Okay.
the edge of the mushroom cap, and down here, near the stem.
Okay. Now, while everybody's painting their backgrounds, would you like to go over what we got upcoming
So
events coming up?
Sure.
Our next upcoming event is going to be on Wednesday night, on the 29th at 7 p.m. for the VW car paint night. Isn't that for an organization?
Yep, so we're partnering with Usborne Books and more. They are trying to get magic painting books into nursing homes and assisted living facilities especially because we can't visit right now at this time, to help keep cognitive abilities up and going for these elderly folks. And the painting books, what's really neat is they're not messy. All you do is add water to a paintbrush and the colors appear on the pages. So it's really neat. They're of course great for kids, but we thought these would be so awesome to get into the hands of the folks that are in nursing homes and assisted living, especially because their family members can't be by their side right now. So that is Wednesday, and more details about that and how to help with that will come at that event.
Yeah, we have a busy week next week. That following Thursday, right after Wednesday, we have the Lighthouse Paint Night. That's also going to be at 7 p.m. That's a Thursday night.
Lighthouse painting. Ta-da! This is our lighthouse. So we left lots of space on there so that you guys can customize lettering or words or a phrase, or if somebody's crafting near you and has like a Cricut machine and they want to add lettering for you, you can do that too. I'm just adding some more pink to mine. I
want it to be all yellow?
I didn't want so much yellow on mine, so I'm just going back and adding a little bit of pink and white in mine. That's all I'm doing.
Okay.
What else do we got next? So after the lighthouse painting is...
After the lighthouse painting is that Friday, the 1st, at 7 p.m. Blossoms Paint It Forward.
Okay. Can you see the blossoms painting in this?
Yeah. You were standing right in front of it, but...
All right. So this is our blossoms painting. This is going to be a Paint It Forward fundraiser for Manville Fire Company number 3 that I also belong to. We've had to cancel all of our fundraising events for the past 3 months because of the situation that we're in. So I am donating whatever tips or donations come in. I'm donating it right back to our organization. We help keep the truck up and running. We're a volunteer organization, so anything that we do comes out of the pockets of the firehouse, of us, of people that donate to us. So we appreciate anything that we can get. It's helpful.
Now, Nadine says, what color are you using right now?
Okay, so I went from blue and white, to red and white, to yellow and white.
Right.
So because I had so much yellow, I just went back to a little bit of that red and white and added a little bit more in here so that it wasn't just like 3 inches. I kind of gave it like 5 inches.
Okay.
That's all. And once you're done with your background, your whole background's covered, you can rinse and dry that large flat brush.
All right.
Sit.
Yes.
I'll give you guys a minute. Give us some likes or hearts, like whatever, thumbs up or hearts, so we know you're ready to move on to the next step. I don't want to move too fast on you guys.
Okay, Jody Darian Golden says, hi.
Hi, Jody.
My child Hannah wants to know who the narrator is.
The narrator is Mark.
Oh, me? I'm the narrator?
You're the narrator.
Okay. Yes, my name is Mark. I'm the narrator.
He's behind the computer and he's answering everyone's questions for me and telling me to speak up or slow down.
Yes. Sort of like the director.
That's what he does.
I'm seeing hearts.
All right, guys. So the next part you need is, if you want to mix on your other plates, I'm going to mix right on this plate until it's too messy. We're going to use a scoop of yellow, so a big scoop of yellow, just a little scoop of blue. We're going to mix right on your plate. Oh my goodness. Okay, we want a light green color. So it's almost like a neon green color.
Hi, Hannah.
Okay. So we have that green color. This is your grass. So you make it whatever color green you want to make it. This is my color green. It's kind of like a neon green. I'm going to start with this.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start under, right under our sunset area. Make sure you grab your edges as you go. You can lift your canvas off of your easel if you want to. Get all those edges in there. Missed one.
You missed?
Missed a little tiny bit in there.
Really?
Of my sunset.
Oh.
Okay. It's okay. Alright. So we're going to coat this in our green. So just using right to left strokes. Horizontal lines.
It looks like you're going real fast.
I am, I'm sorry. It's okay. I'll slow down. I'll slow for you guys to catch up. Rascal, look at you lay down and relax. Oh my goodness. Calm down.
Yeah, he's letting you know that he's fed up and he wants you to stop. You've been painting all day and now he's putting up a protest. He said, weren't you just painting like a couple of hours ago?
Yes, buddy. Yes, it's okay. Yes, it's okay.
Okay, now Becky Lombardo says, is it okay if I'm using watercolor paint?
Yeah, sure. If you're comfortable with watercolors, then you paint with watercolors.
Right, it's really no preference, right?
No?
And Hitesh again says, can you please slow down? I am still on the sky.
Okay.
Okay.
We're trying to take a majority vote here, so I'm sorry I'm too quick for some or too slow for others.
It's okay. We'll work it out. And Hitesh, don't worry. I mean, even if you don't catch up, you can still watch the video as the video is playing. You know, once it's over, then you can play it over and over and still catch up yourself.
But no, I know you want to do it while it's live because
Absolutely.
you don't want to have to wait until it's all over to
Right, right.
wait. So.
Well, we got time now.
Yeah. Nope. All good. I got paint all over me. I don't know how.
Well, can you just like go over the sky one more time since he's still doing it?
So yes, our sky again is our large flat brush, blue and white, corner of blue, corner of white, about 4 inches, blend it in.
That's your blue up at the top.
Yep, blue and white. Rinse, nope, no rinse and dry. Then you're gonna go to a corner of red, a corner of white, tiny little bit of red at a time, and blend into the blue and come down about 3 to 4 inches. And then you're going to do the same with your yellow, corner of white. You're going to blend up into that pink color now, and then take it all the way down to where your grass will start.
Okay. And then once you finally do all of that background, then you take what, yellow and blue and make green?
It's a scoop of yellow and a little bit of blue at a time to make your green color.
Okay.
Alright, so let's see, after the lighthouse we did the blossoms.
Right, after the lighthouse was the blossoms, and then that Saturday, the day right after the blossoms, is the Jersey Shore painting.
Jersey Shore painting is this guy up here. This is what I like of the Jersey Shore. I'm not a beach person. I'm a boardwalk person. So it's kind of the sky ride on the boardwalk. All of the events are all listed on the Facebook page. If you go to the Facebook page, there's a tab that says events. They're all listed there. They're all free. They're all virtual events just like we're doing now. You just have to click going on the event, update your notification settings to all so that you get any notifications when we're live. That helps. And then when we do go live, or at the time we go live, make sure you're in the discussion area. Thank you, Kaylee, for that tip. And you'll see us pop up in there a little more quickly than kind of searching over and over for it.
Right,
It took us a few tries to figure it out too, but thank you, Kaylee.
So, and that completes a very busy week.
That is a busy week.
You know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yep.
and Sunday we have a painting event. So that ends the whole week right there,
Well,
the weekend.
Sunday we didn't do is the Scouts painting, right?
Right. Sunday is at 12 p.m., 12 noon on the 3rd of May. That's going to be for the Scouts. That's the
So-
Girl Scouts. That's the Boy Scouts,
Oh,
Cub Scouts, Brownies.
Any scout troops, so they all need to work for or earn either a painting or a crafting badge of some sort. So this will help them earn that badge with you guys. So if you know anybody, have them join in. They're going to be able to put their troop or pack number in the sky in little lights or little fireflies. And then we have, again, all of our supplies are always listed in the first page in the About section, and post one of each one of our events. And for this one, I added glow-in-the-dark paint so that they can dab each one of their fireflies so that the painting glows in the dark for them.
Okay. Oops.
Sorry. Alright, what do we think? We started our grass with the light green color. So I'm going to switch to the smaller brush. So
Yes.
it's kind of like the middle-sized brush. Okay. Still rinse and dry. Rinse and dry. So we're going to make green again, but we're going to make it a little bit darker than this one. So again, you're going to start with that scoop of yellow, a little scoop of blue, and mix. So again, I swapped brushes. I rinsed and dried that flat brush, and I went to the smaller brush. So I'm getting the same green, so I'm going to add a little bit more blue in there.
Well, that's going to do what? Make it darker?
It'll make it dark. It'll actually probably go, it's kind of like a little turquoisey, but it'll make it a darker green.
Okay.
Okay?
When the last time you took a sip?
I just did.
Are you sure?
Alright, so you just want a little bit of a darker green compared to where you were before. Is that enough of a difference?
Oh, okay, yes, okay. So you're just going to add little patches of green?
So we're going to add some darker areas, like where our shadows are. So underneath this area of the mushroom, We're just gonna wipe some of this darker green color in there.
Ooh.
Okay, same thing on this side. Underneath the mushroom on this side, just want some of that darker green color.
Now, Becky Lombardo says, what type of dog do you have?
He's an Australian Shepherd. We'll put a picture of him up.
Oh, you can see him.
Can you?
I see him over there by you.
In the screen?
Uh-huh.
Oh, all right. He's an Australian Shepherd.
He's getting very anxious right now.
Mom is not sitting with him.
Yeah, he's very possessive with her.
All right, so our darker green color again, we're gonna put in this area under this patch of mushrooms here.
Yeah, your mom, so he's like, you know, beside himself because she's been painting all day.
Go down here a little bit on this side.
Oh, no.
A little under here. What's the matter?
Well, let's see. Steph says, I didn't see the sip. Because I didn't see the sip either.
All right, Steph. This one's for you.
And then,
sip with me.
And then Adrian says, I just cleaned my brush and my wine.
Party foul, man.
Yeah, no, not the wine.
With the separated. My drinking glasses over here. My painting glasses up here. I've done it before. I get it. I'm so sorry. Rinse and dry your brush. Rinse and dry your cup and get a new glass of wine.
Yeah, Nadine wants to see Rascal. Just real quick. See, there he is. See, he's just waiting patiently for her to be done.
I know.
Because he just wants to be with her and he doesn't want her to, he wants her all to himself. He wants her all to himself. He's just saying, please, please hurry. Please, mommy, please hurry.
Relax. Okay.
Please, mommy, please hurry and get this over with.
I know.
I want to curl up on the couch, please.
All right, lay down, buddy. No, I'm not going anywhere. We're not playing. No.
Yeah, now he's all excited because he's thinking you're saying, okay, I'm going to wrap it up right now. And he's ready to go now. He's like, that's it.
Oops.
Are we going? No. You have to lay down. Rascal, sit down.
It's okay.
Relax. Mommy's not done yet.
Buddy, it's okay.
When she's done, she'll take you upstairs, okay? Just take it easy. Take a chill.
We got Rascal from Wise Animal Rescue in December. The dog that we had previous to him was also a rescue, but he lasted 23 years. So we lost him in July, and Rascal was kind of brought into our lives in December, and he just has taken
All
over
right,
the
take
place
it easy, man.
amazingly. He's so good with my son. Yes, relax.
But he's so possessive over you.
I know. All right. So we have our sky. We have our grass. We have some darker green areas. We'll add some of those little pieces of grass in there later once we get to the end. Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody should be pretty much close to caught up.
Okay, so I'm going to use another plate for mixing because I need to mix some brown. So I have my brown. So the brown that I'm using is burnt umber. Yep, is burnt umber. That's kind of your typical. It's either burnt umber or burnt sienna, which is a little more red.
Okay.
So either one doesn't matter. So I'm going to use a scoop of brown here. Good scoop of brown. I'm using my middle-sized brush. You can use either the bigger one or the middle one. It's up to you. I'm going to use a scoop of yellow in that brown. And I'm going to grab a scoop of white. And hopefully not make a mess all over my plate. Okay, so we're doing a light brown color here. You're just going to mix on your plate. If it's not the color you like,
Then you could just add.
then we'll update it. We'll change it. We'll add or we'll can't take away, you can always add.
Okay. Excuse me.
Neither of us are sick, by the way. We had landscapers here today, and I think the allergies for both of us are just haywire. Alright, so you should have kind of a light brown tan color. That's where we're going.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to paint the stem of our mushrooms. Get these little guys down here. And I should be going over those lines. And I'm going to paint the underside of each of those mushrooms. If there's too much paint on your brush, you can always rinse and dry. So I'm going to paint the underside.
Can you repeat the color you just said?
Yep, so you're mixing a scoop of that brown color,
Yes.
a scoop of yellow, and at least a good scoop of white.
Brown, yellow, and white.
Brown, yellow, and white.
And that's how you got the color you're painting now?
Yep. So we're going to start with this light brown color.
And you're painting the stem in the underneath of the mushroom.
Yep, we'll define where the stem is and where the underneath comes in a second.
Okay.
So for now, we're just going to fill that in. And if your stem, like mine, looks a little bit too thin down here, this is where we kind of fix it with the paint.
Okay. How do we make brown if you don't have brown?
If you don't have brown, you're mixing your three primary colors.
Three primary colors.
A little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of red.
Okay.
Brown is tricky to mix. So you probably want more yellow than anything. I don't know the exact ratio of it.
A little bit of blue, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of red?
Yep, those are your three primary.
Okay.
So once you mix a little bit of that, you should be able to see what you need more of. It's usually yellow, and probably add white to it to make it lighter.
Okay.
Okay, so did I fix that? That's okay. So I just made my stem a little bit thicker down in the bottom there.
Okay.
Okay. I'm rinsing and drying. When I'm done with that part,
It's coming along pretty well.
are any of you from the Gnome groups? I joined the Gnome groups to share this with people from the Gnome groups because I thought how neat that you guys have like an entire like following. And I love seeing the creations that people make and the gnomes that people make in the little villages and the fairy villages are amazing.
Wow.
It's so neat.
No one has said that they're from one of those groups. And you let these people in these gnome groups know that you were doing a...
Yeah, I shared the event in the, I don't remember the names of the groups. I joined two different groups. One was like gnomes and fairies.
Okay.
And one was gnomes and more or something like that. So we shared the event in those groups for our gnome lovers.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you guys a minute to fill that in. Give us some likes or hearts so that we know that you're ready to move on. When we see a couple of those come through. I think it's it. Stephanie?
Tiffany says that she's from the Me and Mama Gnome group. She
Alright.
sells gnomes.
See?
And Ronnie Powers, I'm from the gnome group.
Yay! See?
Awesome, all right.
I'm telling you, like some of the creations these guys are making, these gnomes and little fairy villages, and are amazing. Just so cool. We used to have a place in New Jersey. I want to say it was called Fairyland Forest or Fairy Tale Forest. That somebody had kind of like made fairy houses in the bottoms of trees through a whole like nature trail. It was really neat, but I think that it just got destroyed too many times and they stopped doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adrian says check out Cafe Nature in Niagara Falls, Canada.
Okay. I've never been to Niagara Falls.
No?
Nope.
I was there briefly on the United States side when I worked on Amtrak.
I've only been to Ottawa, Canada. That was when I was a kid.
That's something we could do, go to Niagara Falls.
He got fed up with me and he went upstairs himself.
Yeah, he's gonna be right back down. He's just anxious, that's all. He sees that there's plenty more painting to do. There he comes.
Alright, so what I'm gonna have you do, once you're done with your light area under your mushrooms, is rinse and dry that brush. I'm gonna have you go right into the brown that you have, the dark brown. Not the mixed color, the darker brown color that you have. If you're mixing your brown, you may want to add you just want to touch maybe of black. Black goes a long way, so if you can avoid using it, probably the better right now. So I'm just using my little brush in the brown. Okay? So I want to get some kind of a darker area and shading under here. So I'm going to start with little lines from the center. So it's just kind of like, I don't know what those are called. Scores. So it's like little ridges, the little ridges underneath your mushroom.
Right. Hitesh says, I'm finally catching up.
Aw, good.
Fairy Tale Forest.
Fairy Tale Forest, thank you.
It is supposed to be open this fall. It is being renovated.
Oh, good.
That's what Tammy says.
Thank you, Tammy. I would love to go see it. I've heard so much about it and seen so many pictures. We've just never made it. And then underneath where the top of the mushroom kind of overlaps our stem, we're gonna put some shading in here too. And you can blend that in. So I'm gonna go kind of right and left in there, and then up and down strokes from the top to the bottom to get some kind of a shading under there of our mushroom. So now you can see the difference between the stem and the underneath of our mushroom.
Cool.
I'm also going to take one swipe of this dark brown down the left side of my mushroom. Just down the left side.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do the same thing with these little guys under here. I'm just going to fill in the underside with the darker color. And you're going to rinse and dry this brush. And you've got that on there.
Don't start him up.
So we have our light brown stem and underside of the mushroom on the little guys and the big one. We rinsed and dried and we went to that dark brown color. We have kind of our dark brown little ridges underneath the mushroom. And then the dark brown from the top of the stem. The dark brown down along the left side. And we did the same on these little guys down here. And then I'm going to have you, we're going to rinse and dry that small brush again. And I'm going to have you do white now. So we're just going to go into white. And we're going to do a highlight on the mushroom. So down along down along the right side of the mushroom stem is our white. Kind of put a little bit more in there maybe. white. Again, you're picking up that other brown, that's okay. We want it to blend in there, so it's fine. Okay. And grab the little guys and do the same thing over here. Rinse and dry. So now you have your shadows and your highlight on the mushroom stem. And next we're going to go to the top of the mushroom. You can make your mushroom top whatever color you want to make it. I'll stick with the red. The red is a little difficult because you can see through the red paint most times. So when we mix, I'm going to mix a good swirl. We need a lot of paint, so I'm going to go back to my bigger brush for this. Rinse and dry this guy. It's a big area, so we'll go to the big brush for this.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll take a good scoop of red, and I'm going to take a little scoop of yellow. We're going to get kind of a lighter red, dark orange color because the red is usually see-through. So we'll see how this looks on the canvas, okay? If it's still not working, we can add a little bit of white to it.
Oh, you're going to do the mushroom top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's not so bad. I mean, I can still see through it. So, let's see. I'm going to add a touch of white to that. A lot of times some of the your primary colors, your yellow, your white, your yellow, your red, your blues are sometimes see-through.
Okay.
Translucent, transparent. What's the difference? Translucent, transparent. Alright. So let's get a base color on there. That's a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to cover that whole mushroom cap. I'm going to go around where he's sitting so I don't have to paint over that if I don't have to.
Okay.
Around the side on this side. And we got to get underneath here is also the continuation of the top of the mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get under here, and if you want to switch to your little brush, you can. Instead of using the brush the wide way, I'm turning it sideways, using it sideways to make it a thinner line.
Okay. Pretty good.
Grab your little mushroom caps in the bottom too while you're doing this.
They need to use the smaller.
I'm going to the small brush for these little guys down here.
Okay.
I'm good with a brush, but probably not that good. So we'll fill in these little guys down here. The tops of those. While I've got my red, I'm going to grab that little heart off of the top of his hat for mine. You can make these things whatever colors you want them to though, guys, so you don't have to follow my lead here if you don't want to. Rinse and dry.
Very good timing.
So now the fun part is, what color you want your gnome to be? Do you want him to be blue? Do you want him to be purple? Do you want him to be brown? Do you want him to be, I don't know, yellow? You determine what color you want your gnome to be. We're going to stick with blue for him, so I can just show what we did before. Take a sip. Stephanie, I'm going to keep cheersing to you.
Kaylee has a question. I've got some green in my area where my mushroom is, and it's showing darker in some areas. I'm using red. Can I mix something to make it darker red, with it being too dark red? Without?
I'm not sure that I understand.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand either. It says I got some green on my area where my mushroom is,
Okay.
and it's showing darker in some areas.
Okay.
I'm using red. Can I mix something to make it darker red, with it being
I see what you mean.
too dark red?
So, I have
Or
the
with
same.
it without it being too dark red?
I see. So I have the same problem over here. Not that it's a problem, but I have the same thing happening over here.
Yes.
So you're getting kind of that darker green color or darker red color over here. I honestly, I wouldn't even, unless it's like, you know, in a really big area. If it's in a bigger area, I'd say white over top of it, let it dry, and then go back over it with your red once it's dry. If it's this little area over here, like I've got some areas that are overlapping, don't worry about it. You're going to outline the mushroom and you won't even notice it. So.
Okay, so you're still going to outline the mushroom.
Yeah, we're going to outline everything at the end.
Okay.
We're going to let the red dry before we do polka dots on it. So we'll kind of go from mushroom to gnome and then back to the mushroom. So we're going to pick our color for our gnome. I'm going to go with blue. And the blue that I'm using, I can use straight. You can add whatever colors you want to it. You can change it however you want.
Make it purple.
You can make them purple if you want to. I'm going to go with blue. So I'm going to start by, so I don't want to fill this area in so I don't have to wait for it to dry and paint over it, okay?
Right.
So if you've got some areas over here that are not covered, that's the area that you want to fill in. So this is not covered by
his beard.
big beard, yep. And then again, so we were talking earlier about this might look like it's too much mustache or beard and not enough gnome. So you can always widen this if you want to make this wider here.
Right.
Okay.
I see.
So on here it looks like I have a lot more gnome showing, a lot more belly showing than beard. So maybe I'll do something a little bit different with his beard this time instead of all the swirls, but we can play with that when we get there.
Okay.
Alright. So we've got gnome here. We can do his little arm over here. It's just that little oval shape there. So this is kind of, I can see through it, so I'm able to see that yellow through it.
Yes.
You can go back over it again later if you want to go back over it again to make it a little more vibrant so you don't see the other color beneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to start with his hat up here. So it's the rim of the hat. And we'll define that area with outlining when we get to it.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're going to do his hat. So we're just going to fill this all in. And here's where you can change the shape of the hat. If you don't like what you drew, you can change the shape a little bit. We're just going to fill that all in.
Take your time.
So instead of horizontal strokes here, I'm using the shape of the hat and you going vertically. So that
Okay.
it looks like it's standing up. If we go side to side, it looks like it's kind of flattened.
Okay.
So I'm using strokes kind of going up and down, so it looks like it's standing up more. And then
Interesting.
when we get over here, we'll just follow the curve. Just follow the curve around. It doesn't have to touch there. We can do that with outlining when we get to outlining.
All right.
If your gnome, if you want another arm on your gnome, you can add another arm on him. Someone said he's missing an arm. So
Yeah, it sort of looks like it.
So you can add an arm. Should we add an arm on him? It's gonna have to be, I don't know, holding something dangling on that side, I guess.
No, it just has one arm, one up, and the other one will be holding a flower.
Okay. Rinse and dry those brushes. Once you've got your hat filled in and your gnome area filled in.
Yeah, they're asking to slow down.
Yep. That's what I figured.
Because Cinder says, I lost my sketch, so I'm starting over.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It'll take a few minutes. It's okay. So again, we're just filling in this area around where his beard might be. We're doing his arms, and you can add another arm if you want another arm, or you can leave it off completely. It's up to you. We're doing his hat, filling in his hat, and instead of, so on the rim, I went right to left. In the rest of the hat, I used vertical lines. It gives it the illusion. Your brush strokes are important sometimes to give the shape of things. So your brush strokes going vertically help it look like the hat is standing up.
Okay.
It's like we're in a forest. You can probably hear the birds upstairs too. So when you guys are all done with your paintings, we really want you guys to send them in to us. Email them, mimosasmasterpieces@yahoo.com, or messenger them to us, or put them right in the event. We don't mind, as long as we get them. I save them all. I will put them in an album in the event or on the page, and then we'll create a slideshow or a photo montage showing you. We'd love to see you in your picture too. Showing all of the paintings from all over the US and Canada. It's so much fun seeing everybody's paintings. They are, you can tell it's all the same painting, but they're all different, and I love seeing those. At the end of an event, when I'm doing them in person, my favorite part is getting everyone together and getting that final shot of everyone's finished pieces. And we can't do that doing it this way. So the next best thing is having you send us your paintings, your pictures of your paintings, and me putting it together in a slideshow and seeing it. So those are saved to our pages too. So every event we've done, we post the video of how to, and then we post the slideshow video, which we love and appreciate everyone that sends in their photos. Even if it's taking pictures during it, we love seeing your setups and show us what you're drinking and your selfies and what you're sharing on your own page. We love seeing those. So feel free to send them our way.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a lot of things you did real quickly.
I honestly like the canvases that I got better from Michael's.
Yeah.
For this. These canvases are from Jerry's. I'm trying to share links to supplies so that you guys can keep ordering supplies so that you have stuff to keep going. So I do order the supplies that I recommend to you and that I share to you. And I'm not entirely 100% happy with. This is not stretched really well. These are from that Jerry's Artorama. It works obviously. But this one is a Michael's canvas, and you can barely tell that it's moving, so it's stretched really nicely.
Yeah.
getting it to dry a little. We did get the 2 different brush sets yesterday.
Oh, that's right.
Which were really good too. So I'm trying to like keep costs down. I mean, obviously if you're painting now, you don't need brushes again, right? But if you do in the future. So these are both from Amazon. This was a real value set, it's called. And these are all on our website. You can click the links, right, to order them. There was 4 brushes in this set. These are the wood handle ones. So these are like the wood handle ones. It came with 2 flat brushes and then 2 of the smaller round brushes for detail. So that was a perfect set. And then the other one we ordered was the Clear Choice Value Pack, and I think this was under $7 for this set, which was a great set. Especially if you have kids painting with you. There was 7 brushes in this set, and they go pretty tiny with detail brushes. So these are great. I mean, they're just shorter handles, so they're great for kids. But set of 7, they worked well. We painted with them yesterday.
And you can get the link on your website.
The link's on the mimosasmasterpieces.com website.
Oh, what about the Facebook page? Can you get it from the Facebook page?
I think I have links right to the website, to order it from the website. It was hard to get. I couldn't embed the links from Amazon onto
The Facebook
the
page?
together.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I used those brushes to paint the paint for, I wanted to say paint for a pause, but we did we volunteered to be an artist for the Wise Animal Rescue
Oh, yeah.
fundraiser.
This one.
And she got the painting today. So I was, yeah, it's under there. I can show it. I can show it now because she knows about it.
This one.
So what they had to do was send us a picture of their pet. So this actually, it was a random draw too. This happens to be a friend of mine's dog, Chucky. He has like his own page because he's like a famous dog. There's books about him and everything. So this happens to be Chucky, and I had to give a portrait. So we used those nice little tiny brushes for this guy.
Hold them up next to each other.
So she got a picture of it today, and she was just beyond thrilled. So I'm glad it went to her. I was a little stressed because it was going to her, and it was someone I knew, but it was really cool. It was nice to do. So the premise was that you send in a portrait or a picture of your pet, and for a $20 donation, an artist will create a rendition of your pet and they'll send it to you. But it could be an artist of 5 years old, so you don't really know. But it was fun to do it, and I've been seeing the compilations come together. So it's through Wise Animal Rescue. We have been kind of working with them and giving back when we can because of Rascal.
That's right. He's still relaxed.
All right. I think we got caught up, you guys. What do you think?
Yep. I see a lot of hearts.
Okay, good. All right. So we're going to go back to... I lost my little brush.
What did you do with it?
It's over there somewhere. We're going to go back to one of your smaller round brush. So we're going to paint in his mustache area so that we have that kind of defined where you want that.
Okay.
And we'll do the mustache and the beard. So this is just white. If you want to add a tiny, tiny bit of black in there to make it like a gray color, you can do that. So I'm going to start from his nose and go through this little S shape like we did when we drew it. Now I sort of want to close this gap down here. So
Yeah.
bring this down here so that it matches up with his beard.
Okay.
And I'll probably have to go over this again, but that's okay. Just to make it dark enough. So up and over. And come back down, and I want to kind of close up this gap down here. mushroom is probably, oops, is probably still a little bit wet down here. So you just want to make sure this is dry before you start painting over it,
Okay.
or you'll pick up the color underneath.
And if that happens, how do you fix that?
Just have to
You have to wait for it to
let it
dry?
dry, and then we'll go over it. Oh, see, I grabbed blue there. Sorry. He has a blue beard. I think this time I'm gonna kind of do a little swirl down here.
Okay.
Give him a little bit of a different one. How's that? Yeah, I got blue in there, so I'll go back over that later.
Okay.
I'm just gonna fill that area in if you can. Hopefully you don't pick up your other color like I did. I'm gonna rinse and dry. When you see your mushroom is dry, then we'll do the yellow. We still have a couple of wet spots in here, so I'm gonna wait on that a bit yet. So let's go to, let's do his nose. So what we want for the nose, so if you have that color that you used for the mushroom,
Mm-hmm.
we're just gonna take, well, so if you have a red mushroom, I should say. So I'm just gonna take a little tiny bit of that color and another scoop of white. And it should make kind of a peach color or pink color. So it's really just,
For the nose?
yep, this is the nose and his hands.
Right, he's got two hands now instead of
Yeah.
one.
So you can use this pink color. I'm gonna add a little bit of yellow to it. Okay, so it's red, a little red, white, and a little bit of yellow. Is this kind of peachy color. I'm gonna get his nose up here. I'm gonna do his hands over here. Little circle there. A little circle here. No fingers or anything. Don't stress about all those little details.
Everybody's painting. Everybody's doing good.
Rinse and dry when you're done with that. I think we can probably go to, let's do his boots next. Since I
Okay.
think that's probably the least in the way of anything right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna use that dark brown color. You can make this a different color if you wanna make different colored boots, you can. This paint is really thick. If your paints are too thick, you can add a drop of water to it, kind of smooth it out a little bit. When I recommend paints, I always talk about the different acrylics. You can use any kind of acrylic you want,
Mm-hmm.
but here's the difference between flow acrylics that kind of lay and kind of float on your plate, and then this is a heavy-bodied artist acrylic that kind of is heavy and it's thick and it gives texture. And a lot of artists like those because it takes a little while to dry and it's
Katie
thicker.
says, I'm trying to catch up. I'm just finishing his shirt.
Okay.
Steph says, time for a sip.
Sip. Steph. She's gonna be my sip sister.
Uh-huh.
Sip.
Whoa. Something's wrong here.
Why? Oh no.
Low battery.
Oh no. Is the computer plugged in?
I thought it was. Is it?
Should be. Yep. It's plugged in. Yeah. So maybe we just have to run a here. Probably not drawing enough power.
Okay, then maybe that's it. It's not drawing enough power.
From the computer itself. There you go. You can plug it in that way.
What do you mean plugging in where?
So take it from here instead. And you're gonna have to, yep.
Okay, and then what?
We're gonna have to use one of these extension cords.
That wasn't
Still
a good
got
one.
light. That's the computer cord, which I think you should be okay on battery for computer for a while.
Okay.
Sorry guys. Time to catch up, right?
Hold on. Okay, let's see if we get you back up here. We're good.
Okay. Yeah, the live stream takes a lot out of it.
We'll be all right when we get our new camera. Okay.
Go ahead.
Tori Georgiana said, how did you do the hands?
The hands, I just did circles. Little circles. That's it. Simple. Keep it simple. Lay down, boy. Relax. Relax.
Yeah, we got them started. Uh-oh. Can you go over the colors for the nose mixture?
Sure. The color for the nose mixture. So if you had this mushroom color, you're going to take a little bit of that mushroom color that you used and add some white to it. If not, you can just add, it's just a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow, and white. And mix until you kind of get that flushy tone or pink tone to it. So a little red, a little yellow, and a little white. You guys give us some hearts or thumbs up or whatever so I know you have a lot of you ready to go.
Okay. Still need some time.
Okay.
So you're gonna give him a curly Q down at the bottom of his beard?
Yeah. So if you want something like that, then you would just bring your beard out and do little swirls at the end of each one of his lines, each one of the pieces of his beard.
Okay.
Thought I'd do something a little bit different.
And now you're gonna move on to the boots.
So now we're gonna do boots. So I'm just taking that brown color, just a little bit of that brown color on that small brush. So I'm starting with what we have there, that oval shape. And then when I get to the top of it, you want to do a little swirl. So it's almost like that Hershey Kiss swirl, you know, the little loop at the top, the kiss.
Yes.
Alright, so it's the oval shape we started with. And then when I get to the top of it, I'm just kind of swirling it around a little bit.
No.
Sorry.
Looks like you got to thicken up the other side.
Yeah. I'm painting on an angle, guys. So.
That's okay.
So everything may be askew. This side.
Yeah. That's better.
My art director too. All right. So we've got those in there. I think we're gonna go to. It looks like my.
Your Jira says, how do I start with the beard?
Okay, so the beard. So I don't know if you drew it out or not. So from his nose, where the nose and his body connects.
Yes.
It's kind of an elongated S. So it's kind of a curve up, curve down, and curve back up.
That's the mustache, right?
So, well, I'm kind of, yeah, that's true. Mustache, curve up, curve down, curve back up.
Right.
So the the beard.
It's right under the nose.
Under his nose, we're going to bring it out and around and down. Out and around and down.
Within the circle, that's his
Yep,
belly and his
within
body.
his belly area. So you can make that as thin or as wide as you want.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps. I know you can see all my lines under there because I did marker. Alright, so for our, let's do the polka dots or the spots on the mushroom. Alright, so that is just yellow with a little bit of white to kind of lighten that up a bit. So it's just yellow and white. Yellow and white mixed. And this is going to be our polka dots for on top of our mushroom. You can put these wherever you want on top of your mushroom. Start with some half circles on the side, on the edge of the mushroom. You can make these as big or as small as you want. Okay over there, Clicky?
Yes. I'm trying to click on people's comments and nothing is happening.
Oh.
I don't know why it does that.
Put some little spots on these guys down here.
And is there a special way you're putting these spots on there?
No, I just started with the edge, so I went around the top edge first and did some half circles.
Okay.
And then I just went back in and filled in some polka dot spots.
Okay.
Felt like it needed something there. That's good. You're gonna rinse and dry once your polka dots are on your mushroom top. Grab these little guys down here if you didn't already. So that was just a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white mixed. And polka dots on our mushroom tops.
And what else do we have going on here?
Upcoming events.
No, I mean,
Oh.
as far as what is the next step on your painting?
It's giving people a chance to get the spots. So the next part we'll go to is we'll probably do the black. Or we'll start outlining and do under the eyes and start outlining.
Okay.
again, we're gonna stick with that. If you have a smaller detail brush, you can move to the smaller detail brush for outlining. I'm gonna stick with that little brush that I've been using. Rinse and dry, right into black. I'm gonna start in that area where his eyes would be, underneath his hat. Real carefully, going along that area of his nose and his mustache. Same thing on this side. So when I do the detail, I like to call this a pencil grip. You're holding your brush where the metal piece is that holds your bristles in. You're using your pinky as kind of a stability thing here as a guide.
Okay.
And from there you can start outlining. So I'm going to finish outlining his nose. Your white might be a little bit wet still, which is okay. You can come back to that if it's still too wet. We're going to outline let's go to his hat. So I'm going to go around the base of the hat. You're going to want to either rinse and dry this every so often and get that back to a little point again so that you have a nice thin line. Or sometimes I just kind of wipe the excess off of my brush on the side of my palette. But rinsing and drying and getting it back to a point is always good after every couple of strokes here.
What's the matter?
I stuck my finger in pink.
Oh.
So take your time here. No rush. The outlining is really, I think, sometimes what defines it all and it brings it all together.
Yes, you can see it.
Kind of catch and go over any of your little loose lines or any little fuzzy areas. So I think the outlining is important when it comes to kind of putting it all together and finishing it. So take your time. Pencil grip. Use your pinky for stability. Watch where you're sticking it. If it's wet there, just watch your pinky and you don't transfer the paint to another area of your painting. The lighter the pressure, the smaller or thinner your lines.
The lighter the pressure, the thinner the line.
Pressure. The harder the pressure, the more spread out your bristles will be, the wider your lines will be.
Okay. Your hearer says, thanks. Do I paint it white now? Yes, you paint the beard white,
Yep,
yes.
you can paint your beard
Unless
white.
you want to paint it a different color, that's
Or
up to
can paint
you.
it gray if you want to paint a gray beard. But yep, you can paint it white. I'm probably going to go over mine a second time. Or maybe not, we'll see. Bring that down to the heart. Now your hat's defined, you can see it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And we're going to still add some highlights in there and little details, so. I'm going to come down around and do
Mustache.
side of his body.
Oh, the side of his body.
Side of his body first. I'm going to stop where the shoe is or where his boot is because his boot overlaps his body. So I don't want to, I want to put the right thing in front here. Boot. Do the boot on this side. So my lines are getting thick. My paint is getting built up on there. So I want to rinse and dry this brush.
Oh. Okay, yeah, he's getting restless now. He's like, oh, come on, mommy.
Lay down. Did it mess up the pictures? Come on, lay down. Down. Lay down. Relax. Relax. Do this side. Goodness. This food over here. Look at his arm on the side. We're just outlining with the black paint. Small brush, the tiniest one you have. Just outlining. Do the hands.
Lay down.
Okay. We got our hat, we got our body. I'm gonna give a minute to, my mustache and my beard are still wet. So I'm gonna come down to the mushroom and we'll outline the mushroom. Okay, so I'm gonna come down around the mushroom. Still using that pencil grip. Still using my pinky to kind of stabilize my hand. And I forgot the name, but where your green was overlapping into your red, you're not even gonna really notice it, so don't worry about that. Come over here, all the way around. If your lines are getting too thick, don't forget to rinse and dry. Put your brush back to a point. Rinse and dry. And go right over this area. Right over this area. Around here for the underside.
Everybody's painting.
Good. This side up here. Down under here with our stem. Little bit of paint at a time. Using that tiny brush. Here. Come down. Sometimes it's easier to go down than it is to go up. I'm still outlining. I'm gonna come down and do these little guys down here, the little mushrooms. Same little brush.
Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna go into my my mustache and my beard and outline that to start. Up. From his nose, running down. Up. Just rinse and dry that, or make sure you get the excess paint off of your brush. Get it back to a point again. So again, we're going up, using your pinky to stabilize your hand, down and up. Down around here. You're gonna rinse and try to get that brush back to a point again, since I'm getting to a small area. Rinse and dry. Get it back to a point again. Kind of looks like a rocker, a rocker gnome, or a biker gnome, I guess. Right, down here. So you can have a little bit of fun down here if you want to. You don't just want that, and you want to add a couple of little swirls in the black. Do that. So I'm just doing like, using my black, like backward sixes. So there's a couple little extra feathery flyaways in there. We're gonna add a few of the black lines in our beard. So we'll do 1, 2, kind of parentheses there. We'll do smaller ones there. Do a couple down here. I'm going to give the mustache a couple little lines in here. I'm just following the same shape of the mustache already. So that's in there. I'll give you guys a minute or so to catch up there. So we've got all of our outlining done almost. I see a couple of areas to add, so we'll get there. Take a sip, Stephanie, sip for sip. I know, buddy. Relax, it's okay. It's okay. Yes, it's alright. So the other upcoming events that I didn't talk about yet, we got to the Scout Night. After the Scout Night, we have one for dancers. So it's called Curtain Call. And anybody that you know that's a dancer or is in a dance troupe, ballet, this is for them. This is on May 8th. It's a Friday night at 7. And then we have Wesley's Ninja. I have a little buddy, Wesley, who really wanted a ninja block person. So that's in that back right corner. We're going to be doing that one on Saturday at 3 p.m., May 9th. We have this is another Pay It Forward fundraising event. This is our Moonlit Scroll Tree. This is going to be for MS. It's an MS fundraiser for my very good friend Cheryl. Any tips or donations we want you to send right to her for MS. She has been working with me for several years to end MS. So I've been doing paint events for her for the past 4 years. And this year, of course, we have not been able to do anything in person. So we're organizing this one to help her with her battle. So that is on Sunday, May 10th at 7 o'clock. On Wednesday, May 13th, 7 o'clock also, is our purple moon entry. So the 14th is my birthday. We're doing this one on the 13th. This one's really pretty fun. And we have one more on the 15th so far, which is our palm trees and sunset. And this is Friday, May 15th. Our guest last night that painted the feather spoke and said this is the next one. So this is what we're doing. So hopefully you can join us on those. Again, all of the events are posted on Facebook. All of the events have, in the About section, have the details of what's needed for each event. In post 1, it also has the photo, the full photo, and what you need for each event. Reminds you to click going, turn on all of your notifications, so that you can see us when we go live. All right. I think we can move on to let's do our flower. How about that? We'll do our flower, and we'll do the rest of our grasses. So we're gonna go back to that dark green color. If you need to make it again, it was just a little scoop of blue and a little scoop of yellow. And we can go back to outlining. If you haven't completed your outlining, we can go back to it. So don't stress. For those who are ready, we're going to move on to the green. Okay, so green for our stem for our flower. I'm just going to create a little curved line coming out and to the left for the bottom of the flower. And up and to the right, or up and to the left for the top of the flower. So down and to the left and up and to the left. I probably came too far to the left there for our flower, but we'll make it work. I'm going to give it some leaves. So instead of drawing them on, I'm just going to basically tap my brush so it almost makes a leaf shape or a leaf shape on the stem. So I'm just laying my brush down and it almost makes a leaf shape on the stem. And now it got too big. That's right. Okay. Then you can make your flower whatever color you want to. I have a little daisy up there. So for our daisy, I'm just going to take my white paint and make little lines coming together in the center. Yellow stem in there. I just used the same brush. I didn't rinse and dry it. So we're just doing white for our petals, yellow for the center of our flower. And while I have that yellow and white on the little brush, I'm going to just grab each of these side of each of the leaves. So the right side of each one of the leaves on my flower, I'm just gonna brush that little yellow stroke in there. And that's all for our flower. We're gonna rinse and dry. Almost there, guys. Couple more details, you're almost done. Alright, well, we're gonna go back to that green color. Same little brush, I just rinsed and dried. Back into that green color. We're gonna add some grass next to our mushroom. Next to the edge of our mushrooms. So I'm just putting the brush down on the canvas and lifting up with the paint. And you could do this wherever you want to. Just putting some clusters of grass next to our mushrooms. It's kind of hard to see that one, but you can also grab a little bit of yellow. I'm going right into yellow. And you can also add some little yellow ones in there too. It's almost like highlights on the grass. Alright, I'll go over what I just did so everybody's together. So we did the green for our stem. We did our two little green leaves, or little oval shapes, one on either side of our stem. We rinsed and dried. We went to white, and little marks kind of coming together in the center, like little starbursts for our flower petals. We just grabbed a little bit of yellow to dot the center of our flower. While we had that yellow and white, we went over the right side of each one of our leaves to give it a highlight. And then we just added some grass. We rinsed and dried and went back to that darker green color and added some grass around our mushroom bottoms. Alright. We lost Mark for a minute, so. Alright, I think we have just two little things left to do here. So, let's give him some patches on his hat. So for the patches, I just grabbed my white paint, just the same little brush, rinsed and dried, a little bit of white on there. So in a couple areas of his hat, I'm going to do a little square shape, kind of a curved square shape, and fill that in with white. We'll do another little one up here. And fill that in with white. While I have that white, I'm also going to add a little highlight to his nose. So on the right side of his nose, a little white highlight. And then in my heart, I'm going to give that a little white highlight too. And some of his beard that I can see through. Alright, so we have with our white, we added two little patches here, little square patches. I added a white highlight to the right side of his nose. I added a white highlight to the right side of the heart. And then you can add, if you want, some white highlights. So I want you to take off almost all the paint off of your brush. And then if you want to add some white highlights, you're going to lightly touch and kind of rub the brush on your canvas.
Very lightly?
Very lightly. So same thing up here. We're almost all the paint is off of my brush. So very lightly, kind of rubbing my brush on there. for a little bit of a highlight in there. We're going to do the same thing over here. Very lightly. Just want a little bit of white in there.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to rinse and dry that brush again. And then we have 2 things left to do, I think. Almost there, guys. we have to outline the heart. And we have to give him, if you want to put some hearts on the bottom of his boots. Alright, so outline and heart. Going back to my black. I missed this guy before. Using that pencil grip. Pinky to stabilize. Just kind of going back over my areas that aren't quite dark because my paint was still wet.
You're not going to outline a flower?
You can outline the flower. It's really wet since I just did it.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you can. I'm just going to kind of get gray right now. You can go back over that later if you want to. Yeah. It's a little gray. And then you have the little stitches on your patches. So let's go back to my black. Again, rinse and dry that brush. Get it back to a point. We're going to almost outline those little white patches. I'm going just around the outside so there's blue still showing in there a bit. And then the stitch marks are kind of just across. So it's going to go from the white down to the black. And the white through the black into the blue. So they're like little stitches. 1, 2 on either side. 1, 2, 1, 2. And I think we're done. Am I missing? Oh, the hearts. The hearts in the boots. And the hearts in the boots.
Oh, yeah, I see. I see now. How are you going to do that?
So we're going to go back to our pink color. You can use the color you used for his nose, or you can mix another, just a little bit of pink, a little bit of red, or a little bit of white, a little bit of red, or a little pink color. You can make them whatever color you want. You can do blue on the bottom. So again, so I'm just laying my brush on the canvas instead of making a heart shape and filling it in. I'm just going to lay it down like a V. So I'm laying the brush down. I'm laying it down. And that helps with that heart shape.
Oh, okay.
It's so small.
Okay. You're laying it down in a V.
So, yep. So I'm just kind of laying it down this way.
Right there. And now you're going to turn it around.
I'm turning the brush over and going to this
and
side.
The opposite in a V. And okay, there's your hearts.
So you don't have to make the strokes and then it not look exact.
Okay.
So that's a little trick. That's all. And the very last thing you need to do with your painting is sign it. You need your initials on it.
What size canvas is this again?
This is a 12 by 24 canvas. And you can use whatever color. You can use whatever size canvas you want. I had this size and I kind of thought it was the perfect thing to put on it.
Mm-hmm.
Along with our feather that we did earlier today. Or no, last night. Losing track of days. So when you're done with everything on your gnome, you're just going to add your initials and the date. I usually do the bottom right or bottom left corner, whichever you like. And you are done with your gnome. Does anybody need anything repeated? Do you need help with anything else? You give us a shout out and let us know.
Well, Diane said, hi, you all probably said this already. I will do this one later. What size is the canvas? And you just told, I just
12
asked
by
you.
24, yes. 12 by 24, but you can put it on a 16 by 20. This is a 16 by 20 size canvas.
Right.
So you can just kind of shorten your mushroom or make your mushroom a little bit shorter and you'll be fine.
And then Tammy Drews says, I will share the dancer on the OCVTS Performing Arts Academy
Thank you.
PTSO page.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate the shares. We know some of you are sharing the stuff. The notifications on the page are a little crazy and I can't see all of the shares, but I do try and thank all of you when I can see, when it's like a public thing. I always try and go to it and thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
And we want people to send in their pictures.
Please do.
They're gonna send them in at
You can send them in the messenger if you want to. You can send them in email, mimosasmasterpieces@yahoo.com, or you can post them right in the event. You can post them at the end of the video if you want to. It's up to you. As long as you get them to us, I'll find them and we'll save them and we'll put them in the photo montage so everybody can see what you all did.
yes.
We're really excited to see these. We know that this was kind of a difficult one with lots of steps, but I think we did it. You guys, I'm sure, did great.
Yes.
I'm excited to see them. So yes, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Anybody else have questions? Let us know.
No, the thank yous are coming in. Lisa
Oh, you're welcome, guys.
says thank you. Hitesh says thank you. This was amazing.
Oh, you're welcome. I can't wait to see your paintings, guys. Again, I'll put up a picture of Rascal and I for hearts, and we'll put up the link for PayPal.
Yeah, Rascal's finally getting over his mommy being taken from him. He's gonna get back to normal now.
And we'll put those up there, and we do appreciate anything. Always accepted, never expected. We appreciate everything that you guys have done, and sharing and liking and commenting. And I always say too, like, a review is just as good as a tip. Honestly, we like having reviews.
Yes.
If you want to offer us constructive criticism, my shouting, I know, I already know that one. You don't have to tell me that again. You can email us, mimosasmasterpieces@yahoo.com.
We're working on that. We're going to get a new camera with a better microphone that can pick her up really well.
Taking so long. So
Yeah.
yes, speaking of everything taking so long, if you do want to paint with us again, go through the list of events that are coming up. We're booked into May 15th, I think. May 15th.
Yes.
So please order your supplies now so that you have them in time and you can do this live with us. We know you can go back to the events all the time and you can go and
Watch the video, and
again.
paint still.
I think it's so much more fun though when you are able to go live with us and you can interact with us and you can ask questions or you can tell me to slow down or speak up or
And
whatever.
you can interact with the people that are participating as well.
Absolutely.
We definitely encourage people to make friends.
Yeah, invite your friends. You can
There's
chat
people
with
from
each
all
other.
over the country, coming in and painting with us.
Yes, we love it.
We want to start a community.
A Paint with Jen community.
Yes, most mimosas and masterpieces.
Community. Well, we appreciate it. I enjoy doing this, so we're gonna keep doing it while we're here and stuck. My fingers are crossed that we are out of this by August. That's when August is my breaking point when it comes to it. We have one event for the sloth painting party for those that are local. We have the Lehigh Valley Zoo bringing us an actual sloth, and we're doing a paint party with the sloth. And that has been booked. It was supposed to be in April, which we had to move to August. I just want that to happen.
Don't worry. Positive thoughts.
I know.
Steph said so much fun.
Good.
Kaylee said thank you so much
Cheers,
for the
Steph.
fun.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us again.
Yes.
I'm glad everyone enjoyed.
And Diane Lake says I'm so excited to join you all next time. She's ordering her supplies now.
Yes, do it.
Check the events. We have a lot of events coming up next week. We're working on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we get 5 days off until the following Friday. So we'll be back and we'll be having different things to put up.
If I'm not live here, my son Aiden, whom some of you know from the last time, will be live on his page, Vacuum Boy. He's sold 1 or 2 vacuums already, so he wants to show something new. I don't know. So
All you first timers, we want to thank you so much.
Thanks for watching and enjoying with us.
So much for coming to join us tonight. And we hope to see you again.
Yeah, definitely.
The Georgianas, they said they were first timers, so I want to thank them.
Thanks, family.
Yes.
We always say, even when we have events here in our home, you come as a guest and you leave as a friend. And I wholeheartedly believe that. I've made friends. Kaylee and I kind of connected last night, so virtual hugs and kisses to you. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Samara Davi, VS says thanks a lot for a wonderful time. Great efforts, really appreciated. Ours was the first time, but never felt like it. So easy with your help.
Oh, good.
Thank you. That's
We're trying to
greatly
make it as
appreciated.
easy as possible. I really do, because I know it can be overwhelming and frustrating. And we don't want you frustrated. We want this to be a stress-free kind of thing. We want this to be downtime and something you look forward to and you're relaxing through. So.
Well, now Samara says, yes, I would love to join you guys again. All you got to do is stay on the page here, Mimosas and Masterpieces, and look at the events coming up.
Yep.
We've got a lot of events next week. We're running back to back days. So we'll be doing hopefully there's something there during the week or during the end of the weekend that you'll like, and just come and join us.
You might have to give the dog some CBD or something.
Yes, Diane says that, yes, lives will be better. Yes.
Yeah, the lives are
Can't
better.
wait for my supplies.
Yes. Awesome.
That's right, everybody. Don't forget, you can go to the website, mimosasmasterpieces.com, and it'll give you links to order your supplies.
So again, the links on the website are for Amazon supplies. I am by no means telling you you don't have to buy from there. Michael's is probably cheaper. Michael's, you'll probably get them faster. I'm unaffiliated with all of them. I just want you to be able to source your supplies. Amazon changes their delivery times daily. They change their prices regularly. So it is definitely, I mean, I think I saw a 2-pack of canvas for like $20, which is ridiculous.
Okay.
So, you know, work on your things. If you have a question, if you find something, you have a question about, is this okay to paint with, or is this the right brushes, send me a message. I'm always answering my messages. So I'm happy to guide you with whatever you need, okay? So we're here for you. We want you to have fun. So thank you guys so much again. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Yes, please. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.